God-awful decision. Masai brought a winning culture. He is the best president in the league. Dark days are ahead. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Amateur Answers. It's this series on the channel where I read your comments and react to them in videos just like this. So make sure you comment something down below for a chance to be featured in the next edition of this series. And also, while you're down there, smash that like button and subscribe to Amateur Sports for more Toronto Raptors content. Been a while since I did one of these. Been really busy with free agency and the draft and life, but finally back to it today. Let's jump into it here. We had the first one from Justin Russell 851. This is under the video, and this batch of comments will be under the video I did talking about Masai Ujiri getting fired by the Raptors. And yeah, Masai Ujiri meant a lot to the city of Toronto, meant a lot to the franchise. He really changed the way we think about the Raptors. I said it in the video, like it felt impossible for the Raptors to win a championship in Toronto. It felt impossible for an NBA champion to be from Canada, but it happened, and Masai Ujiri really instilled that mindset. And as much as the fan base can be a little aggressive in wanting to refine that success, you know, the fan base has tasted it. The fan base knows what this team, what this franchise, what this city is capable of. They want to get back to that point. The reason there is such a winning mentality amongst people is the fact that Masai Ujiri brought it to the team. And without that here, we'll have to see. I have a lot of faith in Bobby Webster as the GM, but the dark days ahead could be about the ownership, how they're going to run the team. That is a little bit of a scary thought to me as well. Next comment comes from Aiden Brawny Blonde. Says, I grew up during the Masai Ujiri era. It hurts to see him go, and I am fearful for the future of the franchise. Yeah, I grew up so I was born in 1999. So like the first 11, 12 years of my life were pretty much like every Toronto team was horrendous. The Jays were horrendous. The Leafs were horrendous. The Raptors were bad. They had like some pockets, but like mostly bad. Like it was a really, it was a really tough time to be a Toronto sports fan, especially as a kid who wanted to see winning so bad. But stuck with it, stuck with the Raptors. You know it was all worth it for that NBA championship. But you know, to grow up in this We the North era, like if you were born, 2005. 2006, 2007, like what you know as a fan is only winning. So it's tough to see that part of the franchise go away. I am a little bit fearful as well, as I said, from the ownership perspective of where the team is heading. Isaiah Sports says, Masai gave Toronto basketball fans hope. Yes, definitely. He was a game changer here. When Kawhi left, Masai said, we're not going to lose sleep. We will win again in Toronto. Everyone believed him. Masai had an aura when he said, F Brooklyn. That was such a culture shift. Masai will forever be a Toronto Raptors legend. MLSE messed up big time. Yeah, more on the winning culture stuff here, and he was kind of right. I mean, I one of the biggest what ifs I think for this Raptors franchise is what if the pandemic never happened to them. I think a lot of people, a lot of teams can say the same thing, but the Raptors, like, man, they were the home seed against Boston the second round of that playoffs in the bubble. They didn't get the Game 7 at home. They took Boston right to the brink of Game 7. No home team won a game in that series. I mean, I seriously wonder. I believe the Raptors have home court. They win that series. They also likely had a much better version of Pascal Siakam. And doing that after losing Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, like obviously Kawhi, like the centerpiece, but two like major components of that championship team, losing it for nothing, not really being able to replace them, and still running it back and being that successful. Yeah, the team building at the time was insane. A lot of people didn't believe Masai, but the team surprised a lot of people. So we'll see if we can reclaim some of that magic with new people coming in. But not everybody was upset about Masai Ujiri getting let go. Some people thought it was the right decision. Morse Code MC says, been a diehard Raps fan since 1999, and I'm glad Masai is gone. He refused to sell high on guys, was never proactive about things, didn't do what was necessary many times during trade talks, refused to adjust his team building philosophy, etc. He was still inspirational in a lot of ways and a great executive overall, but his time ran up. I'm very grateful for everything he did, but in the last 5 years, he lost a plot. So I can recognize this point. The Raptors let Fred VanVleet walk for nothing. They didn't maximize Siakam's value in a trade. They probably didn't maximize OG Anunoby's value in a trade, didn't maximize Kyle Lowry's value in a trade. Like, there were a lot of mistakes in the last 5 years of this Masai Ujiri era, so I can understand the desire to move on from him. My fear is that I respect Masai Ujiri so much as president and as the leader of the basketball operations here, I respect it so much that as much as there have been mistakes, like who's the guy I want to trust to get the Raptors out of it? It's probably Masai Ujiri, more so than pretty much anybody else the Raps could bring in. Now, again, I have confidence in Bobby Webster, but I had a lot of faith in Masai still. Some of that faith was wavering, and I understand like why he got let go. I thought actually when his contract ran out at the end of the year or in the summer of 2026, he was just going to walk and they weren't going to extend him. But yeah, the difficulty is trusting somebody more than Masai to get the Raptors out of it because Masai's done it before, proven that he can win in Toronto. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I understand this perspective. We have the next one coming up from Daryl524. Says Sam Presti, the Oklahoma City Thunder general manager, yes, has made huge mistakes with James Harden and other players. He mismanaged his roster several times over. The difference is he was given 10 years to fix the mistakes and win a chip. So, well, for Sam Presti, there was a full-on rebuild that took place in OKC. And yes, there were mistakes. You know, James Harden was one of them, letting him go to the Houston Rockets and then him becoming an MVP on a different team. You know, I think what is swept a bit under the rug of the Sam Presti era is the fact that they just had so many draft picks that they were bound to hit some. I'm not saying they're bad at scouting. Like, this is a very good drafting team. But in the mix of it all, there were a lot of very big misses from the Thunder in the draft, like Ousmane Dieng and like, you know, Pokusevski. But because they had so many picks, it wasn't really noticeable for the team because it was like, oh, well, we have Jalen Williams coming in, right? So to a certain extent, yes, Sam Presti was given time, but like at least I think for the Thunder, it was clear the rebuild was heading in the right direction. Like they jumped in wins every single season, and there was very linear progress to see, which the Raptors haven't had in the last few years. So I see this perspective, but I can see the other perspective as well, where Masai, there wasn't really a lot of progression taking place, and uncertain if we're going to see a ton of progression from the Raptors team this season. We will just have to wait and see. But again, I kind of would have preferred to keep Masai, but I can understand why he would have been gone at the end of the season. It's just, I wonder who can do a better job than him. Like I said, we have Tim Wong, last one on this Masai topic, says billionaire owners are completely disconnected from their fan base. The Leaf situation is different, going the El Cheapo direction. So I do agree with this. Like I said, I'm fearful a little bit of the ownership. I've been seeing what's happening with Toronto FC. I'm a big Toronto FC fan, and man, MLSE is just doing a horrific job of managing that team. And, with the Raptors, that Keith Pelly press conference, it really felt like a corporate conversation. It wasn't about a sporting organization. And I get there's so much money involved in everything. But, yeah, I'm wondering, and I'm scared of this being treated like a business more so than actually trying to see a winning product on the court. So, yeah, I mean, that press conference very much showcased a disconnect from the fan base because regardless of your thoughts on Masai Ujiri and whether you wanted him to go or not, there is a recognition from everybody that he meant a lot to the city. He meant a lot to the culture. And I don't think he was given that level of respect in that press conference, which, again, agreed, showcased that disconnect. As a reminder, if you're enjoying this one so far, make sure you do smash that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for more Raptors content just like this. Also, like I said, comment something down below to potentially feature in the next edition of Amateur Hour Answers. All right, we're going all the way back to the draft now. This is in response to the Raptors selecting Collin Murray-Boyles with the 9th overall pick, passing on Collin Malauch. This one comes from Spam Dunk. Says, how are we feeling this morning? This is the day after. Are we out of our feelings yet? Because a lot of people were upset about the pick. CMB is an elite defender. We're all going to love him. And shame on the fans commenting BS on his socials. Leave the kid alone. Hard worker, hybrid defensive menace. Sign me up. We're not in any position to be drafting purely based on positional needs right now, and this kid has a bright future as an all-defensive player. Lofty, but yep, something we've been missing since we lost OG. So, a lot of things I really agree with this. This is very well said. So, yes, if you spent your night of the draft commenting on random Instagram posts from Collin Murray-Boyles' profile, you're a loser. I mean, that is just like some of the scum of society to, as a Raptors fan, welcome to the team. Yeah, this first impression of the fan base for this kid is him getting just berated in an unrelated Instagram comment section. That's just terrible. But I really like what this user said here about the Raptors not being in the position to draft for a positional need. And Bobby Webster said it in the press conference after this pick. He said, we're still in the talent acquisition phase, and they wanted to get the best player available. They feel it's this guy. Look, he wasn't my first choice in this position here, but if the people in the front office who have a very good track record of making good picks feel this is the best player, I'm going to trust them to do that. The Raptors have consistently bet on switchable defenders with talent on that end and decent feel, and they bet on themselves, the Raptors development team, they bet on themselves to teach the shooting and get the floor spacing involved for the players. So I like the guy. I think Raptors fans will definitely like him, and he will grow on a lot of people. Definitely agree there. We have Nick Killer, one of our amazing members on the channel. Thomas Perry says, I'm stoked. Love players like Collin Murray-Boyles. I understand the reaction from him and from the fan base. I initially thought he looked upset, even with the smile. He cleared it up quick based off his character. This won't faze him at all. Next season is going to be an exciting year. We're going back to the playoffs. So yeah, a lot of the hate for Murray-Boyles, and it still stands today, stems from his reaction when he got selected. I think it's been taken largely out of context, and people are like, I think if you actually watch the video of him getting drafted and feel like it was a negative reaction towards getting selected by the Raptors, then I very much believe that you're just looking for something to be upset about. I don't see how you can rewatch that full clip and think that he was actually upset. It was a surprise. He wasn't told he was getting selected by the Raptors. They don't call the players in advance like other teams do. So it was a bit of shock and a bit of that raw emotion and disbelief that, wow, I've realized my dream of being in the NBA. So please do not make anything of it. Like Nick Killer said here, seems to show great character, and this is not going to faze him. And the Raptors, yeah, it's depleted East. Let's get back into the playoffs this season. Absolutely. The next comment comes from Windowman9665. Says, I trust Masai and Bobby. Well, this is before Masai got fired. I was shocked. They like Malauch. Then they must have loved CMB. If he's an all-NBA defender with elite hands, it's basically Draymond Green. So we're seeing a lot of the Draymond Green comparisons even I made. I mean, when you get like an undersized power forward / center, the obvious comparison is to go to Draymond Green 100%. But yes, the bigger point is, like, if you really liked Malauch, and clearly the front office did as well, think about how much they like Collin Murray-Boyles as a prospect if they selected him over Colin Malauch and over Noah Isangay. So they must really like him. Let's put some faith in the front office. And even like Masai Ujiri, even though he's not here anymore, he was part of the process in selecting him. I have a lot of trust in Bobby and Masai to get the pick right. This one comes from r.d.vaughn4541. So wondering if they're still leaning more on the build side than the win now side of the rebuild. Of course, a couple trades, example, RJ Grady Abaji could be the way to fill the obvious holes, such as backup center. Well, signed one in Mamu. And floor spacing. Need more floor spaces for sure. I agree with that. It'll be an interesting summer in Summer League. With Ingram in the mix and the limited time we've seen the core group together, it'll be like seeing a brand new team next season. Much more than an established team being tweaked around the edges. So I agree here as well. The Bobby Webster, the way he's been talking, has made me think the same thing. Because I've been like dead set. Like, look, if you're acquiring Brandon Ingram, you're trying to make the playoffs next season. But was that just because they got a really good deal on that? Or was it seriously like a move to make the playoffs? It's starting to feel more and more like, hey, we just got a really good player for a cut price deal. We kind of had to make that trade. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what the aspirations are for the team. I mean, in the end, absolutely, they should start the season with the aspirations to make the playoffs. But if they're like treading water around the trade deadline, does the priority change? I really do wonder as well. It's a very good question there. Who's this? Angeli the Corgi, I think. Sorry. Says, if we haven't noticed yet, the Raptors have just drafted Scottie Barnes as Scottie Barnes replacement. So I don't know if this is negative in the sense like this, like we're moving Scottie Barnes. Is this going to take place? I don't agree. Murray-Boyles isn't there. Barnes was a much higher pick in a very stacked draft class at this top as well, with like the guys that went in that draft class. I don't think they see Murray-Boyles as that sort of do-it-all type of player. I see Murray-Boyles much more as somebody who's going to be like, on the higher end of what he could achieve. I guess he could be one of the lead players, but I think realistically we're looking at like a very elite level role player, like a really good starter to have in the upper end of what we can expect from Collin Murray-Boyles. I don't think that he's been selected to necessarily replace Scottie Barnes. I disagree with that. Before we go to the next batch of comments, as a reminder, we have merch for the channel. If you want to check out the merch, go to the Kijiji link in the description. You can send me a message. I handle all the shipping. I handle all the messages. I have all this stuff on site right here. Great stuff. We got hats, we got shirts, we got stickers. If you're local to Toronto as well, I can just deliver it personally to save you on the shipping cost. But even with the Canada Post strike, even with shipping issues, I've got a shipping provider that's going to get this stuff to you, or I'm going to do it myself, or I can meet you at something like Union Station or something like that to make it easier to save on shipping costs. Willing to help you out. Get some merch today to support the channel. All right. This is under the video I did about Alijah Martin, the Raptors' second-round pick, 39th overall. We have a comment here, first of all, from We the North Dragon, 9366. This is Weed the North Dragon. Okay. Martin is a winner. He has the necessary characteristics and attributes for a winning environment. He will make others around him better. The Raptors do a great job at looking beyond just skill and athleticism. They seek hardworking, solid, mature people. Love the draft picks. Obviously, they need to move some pieces around, but they are building a ridiculously hardworking, defensive-minded group and of people with unteachable drive. So yeah, that's Masai Ujiri said it last year around this time that this is the type of players they're looking for. Point was a bit proven with the selection of Jamal Shed, who fits into that 100%, and he came into the league and was great for the Raptors. Made an instant impact and will likely have a large impact on the Raptors bench this season. But yeah, I agree. I like the bet on players like this who are willing to work, have that dogged mentality to work on their game and get better. And I think it will rub off on players around them. I think it's great for the culture building of the team, which certainly is still on the up. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to see Alijah Martin play with the Raptors. Absolutely 100%. Iceman like Gervin says, will he even be on the final 15-man roster? The Raptors have a glut of shooting guards. Barrett, Dick, Walter, Abaji, spelled wrong, Lawson, Rhodes. Well, not Rhodes, Roden, Jared Roden. I was going to say, Jared Roden got waived, so there's a little bit of room made there. But it's absolutely possible with a bit of a loaded roster right now that Alijah Martin settles on a two-way contract, which is completely fine. I mean, I think it's great for his game to get a bunch of game time with the Raptors 905, and when the time comes, he can get much more minutes with the Raptors in the season as well. But I think it will be a benefit to him to get time with the 905, first of all. That's why it's great the Raptors have the 905 system, and it's so close to their HQ basically in Toronto with the OVO Athletic Center. It's like a 30-minute drive to the Paramount Fine Food Center. So it's great to be able to do double duty and to be able to share the load and give these guys the minutes in the development reps. So I think it'll be good for him even to get a two-way contract if he gets that. This one comes from Caddy Pan 3293, says he's got point of attack defense, good cutter and athleticism. Shooting is okay to decent. I mean, pretty good, 35% over a 5-year college career. But maybe Patrick Williams type of player. Winning in college doesn't always translate to the NBA, though. So winning in college doesn't always translate, but that sort of culture mentality is great to bring in, as we said. Now, the Patrick Williams comparison. Please stay far away from Patrick Williams. I am absolutely not a Patrick Williams fan. I don't really know what he does. I don't turn this into a hate on Patrick Williams, but Patrick Williams has solid three-point shooting numbers because he's always left open because teams don't respect his three-point shot. He doesn't put pressure on the rim. He's not like that good of a defender. Not a good baller. I don't know what he does. I don't want that comparison there. Alijah Martin, good point of attack defense despite being a bit undersized. Dogged mentality. Good player to have in the perimeter defensively. Solid shooter on offense. Like, I like that. We don't need those Patrick Williams comparisons. Before we go to the last batch of comments, another thing to promo here. Amateur Sports has a Discord. The link is in the description to join. Great place, great community of Raptors fans. We discuss the latest news and just various topics around the team and the NBA. Join the Discord with the link in below and get involved in the conversation. This is under the most recent video I did. This is in reaction to the Raptors re-signing Jakob Poeltl, signing Mamukelashvili, and also me wondering if the team is a little bit too expensive. We'll see how they perform this season. First of all, Joey the Misfit says, and this is one of our real stream OGs, by the way. Shout out to Joey the Misfit. Says, not an overpay for Poeltl at all. He's got to be the most underrated center in the league. Dead serious. All he doesn't do is shoot threes. He does everything he's supposed to do in his role very well. I agree, and one of the things I think I took from the Raptors signing Poeltl, a lot of people called it overpaid. What I took as well is, yeah, he's underrated, man. He is a very good center. Oh my God. I mean, should we just add him to the list of like underrated Raptors players? Like Siakam leaves, all of a sudden gets so much praise with the Pacers that he didn't get with Toronto. OG Anunoby leaves, gets so much praise as soon as he joins the Knicks. So much praise for his defense that he didn't get in Toronto. And all this time, people tried to gaslight us into thinking like Siakam and OG are overrated by Raptors fans. So even Fred VanVleet, overrated by Raptors fans. Then they go to a different team. It's like, oh, hang on. Whoa, we weren't familiar with your game. I apologize. But like, we've been telling you all this time, and I'm going to continue to tell you about Jakob Poeltl. Window Man 9665, a reappearance, says Poeltl is so consistent and reliable. It's just great knowing you're going to get minimum 12, 10, 3, and 2. We went without a true center for a while, and it sucked. Yes. Yak is very underrated by pretty much everyone except Raptors. His true value can't be shown in box scores and numbers. He's just a great player and fits this team perfect. If he can find a way to knock down a few threes here and there, well, dang. So yeah, really love Jakob Poeltl. Agree 100%. On the three-point front, though, I mean, he made one last season. I saw the form, not looking good. I would not bank on three-pointers coming for Jakob Poeltl. But yes, so consistent, so reliable. Agree 100%. Next one comes from James Liu, 5486. Don't see much downside to Mamu signing. The best case scenario would be that the team has signed a player on the rise at an inexpensive price tag. If he flames out, he's paid bottom 5 rotation money, and he's here for one more year if he opts out. As for Poeltl, the eye test indicates that he works very well in Darko's system and is an intelligent player to boot. I can't wait for Summer League to end to see what kind of a team we could bring into training camp. Yeah, for Mamu, yeah, solid pickup. Agree 100%. He has a player option for next year, but it's not an expensive player. I think a decent player to take that small little gamble on, and I think he does fit with the Raptors system as well. Guardian Transit 7527 says signing the new big man who can shoot the ball is huge. Absolutely does. It is good. I don't know how many minutes he'll get. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But the ability to have lineups where Mamukelashvili is in lineups alongside Poeltl is great. We're not limited to a center that's not as mobile, can't play alongside Poeltl. Just gives more flexibility to the lineups, which is something that I'm absolutely looking for. Blue Week 1 says the Raptors become a lottery team again next year. They might have to blow up the whole team. And this is the last one here. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say they have to blow up the whole team. Like I said earlier, we don't really know what phase the front office thinks this team is in. They'll probably feel like they can continue to build forward. If they don't make the playoffs, it'll suck, but it's still a young team that's going to get better, continue to grow. I think changes will happen, but I wouldn't say blow it up and like get rid of everyone type of thing. So some tweaks will have to happen, and maybe like some bigger ones, like if RJ Barrett isn't traded, maybe that will be the push to trade somebody like RJ Barrett, but blowing up, I wouldn't go quite that far. Before we end off, shout out to the amazing members in the community, especially to our MVP member in Sandy Thompson. Thank you so much, everyone who gives this extra support to the Amateur Hour sports community.